All right, we are back with another edition of Behind the Beat. Welcome in, everybody. October 2024. Happy to be back and happy to be breaking down this month a track called Evergreen, which is from my new instrumental album, Unknown Advantage. It's track number 2, and this is one of my personal favorites from the project. I put out a video recently talking about all the different songs on the project, so I gave a little bit of backstory in that about Evergreen. But if you didn't see that video, this track was actually the oldest beat from the project. So I started the project in, I think, 2021 at some point, probably like the end of 2021. And this was a beat that was made around that time. Was definitely made on an old laptop because these files are all exported and put into session on this computer. Like a lot of the other beats you've seen, like the beat breakdowns I've done recently, a lot of those are the same way if they're older beats. So I know for a fact this one was made in 2021 at some point, probably toward the end of the year. But I actually had hosted this on BeatStars at a time. I just remember being like, going through different beats to find the 10 that I felt would fit the project. And I was like, I really want to, include this one because it just really spoke to me in the way it's arranged and just the style of it is just kind of my favorite style of production. And then when I was able to sequence it, it actually comes right before, well, it comes after the intro, which is Breakthrough, but it comes right before Horizon, which was a lead single. I think just the placement of it is super cool too. But I was definitely glad that I was able to use this for my project instead of just giving it somewhere else. I think I even tried to get a couple artists on this, maybe around the time we were working on the Proven Knowledge album. It just never really came to anything. And I was like, I really want to put this out and use it and make sure that it gets used in the right way. So let's break this down. As you can see, 5 different tracks in this make up the full song. I don't know why I did this ordering. I feel like when I created the beat, a lot of the way this is ordered was different. So I guess I'll just go down the line like I usually do. But I feel like I didn't really start with a bass line because it has the bass line as first. I think I probably it might even be in alphabetical order now that I'm looking at it because it has bass, drums, keys, the lead, and then the synth. So I think it's just however the files came in, I just drug them in there. And then I ended up doing the final master within this session. But we'll just go down the line like we usually do. But I don't think I started with this bass line, but let's check out the bass line first. It's got a lot of punch to it. I like this bass line a lot, so let's hear that. That's the 8-bar loop. There's a little bit of variation there toward the end, but it's mostly the same. I've mentioned in other videos too, I like bass lines that just kind of support the drums and support everything else that's going on. They don't really take over the beat. They don't really do too much. So simple 8-bar melody. Let's go to these drums because if I remember correctly, these drums are a little bit of the live percussion elements, which a lot of this project has more of that element to it as opposed to like trap drums or even certain drums that are used in R&B production. I just wanted a more of a live feel to kind of fit with the vibe of the whole album in general. And these drums really stood out to me as far as, the different tracks that I had on there. So let's hear those real quick. Again, no real variation going on there. Those are pretty much simple boom bap drums, sped up a little bit. This is a 92 BPM track. And yeah, those drums I felt like they went very well with the bass line. Again, these are probably 2 of the final elements I put in. I feel like I did not start with either one of those elements. But the keys is probably where I started out with. And this is the main part that you hear throughout. And these keys have a lot of different dynamics to them, especially in the tones as well. I think I remember EQing these in a certain way so that they wouldn't clash with the bass line or with the other elements as well. But they stand out a lot from the very beginning because they're the first thing you hear with the bass line. So let's check those out. very hopeful feeling keys. Gets you inspired, honestly, when you hear that set of keys, honestly, and the way that they work with the bass line, which I'll play in a minute here. I just thought it was super awesome. The next thing we have is the first lead, which goes from the pre-chorus into where the chorus would be, and then I had it going a little longer toward the end as well. And when I play the outro, you'll just hear how it kind of all, after the build up, kind of all just levels out right at the end. I think it fits perfectly with that as well. So let's check out this lead. It's almost a synth mixed with maybe a Rhodes, and I think it's even gated a little bit. I don't know if I gated the sound, um, but there's definitely some gated elements to it, especially in that tail end of that 4-bar loop there. And I don't know, I just felt like that fit so well, complementing the keys. And I that to me is my favorite part of the beat of the whole production, because it stands out the most. And especially, like I said, once we get toward right before the last chorus, like right in here, and then the outro, it's just amazing. I love the way it turned out. And the final element is the synth, which is primarily, I could talk today, primarily in the hook and the outro as well. So let's hear that one. It sounds like I put a lot of reverb on that, a lot of saturation. I'm pretty sure that was just Pigment sound, though. They have a lot of great lead elements and different synth elements that you can incorporate. It was all about tones with this one, and just making sure everything kind of fit exactly where it's supposed to. So I feel like that's exactly what I did there, and extended it out a little bit. Let's before we hear the full track, just hear like how some of this stuff fits together. So from the very beginning, like I said, you hear the keys with the bass. So here's that. Like you can hear at every like new key change, the bass is just hitting, hitting, hitting. So it's just like it's playing its part. It's not doing too much, but it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. And then the keys with that first lead is probably my favorite one, honestly. And we add in that synth at the hook. Hear that break. And that extra element comes in. It almost widens the sound out. And then with the outro, all that happens pretty much is the keys and the drums end up dropping out. And then this is what we got at the very end. And then obviously I took the master volume off here, but there's a little fade out at the end too, which I love fade outs on those super emotional beats because I'm just like, oh, it just makes you kind of just fall out with the song, but you're just thinking about all the emotions that you're feeling at the time. So I love the fade out there. This is one of the longer songs on here. I think On the Path was maybe like a little bit longer by a few seconds, but this is a pretty long one. It's a little over 3 minutes. I don't even know. I might have restructured this beat a little bit too from what it originally was. But let's hear it all together. Let's hear it from this last hook right here. that's pretty much it right there. That is pretty much Evergreen in a nutshell. Um, yeah, like I said, one of my favorite beats. It's the oldest beat on the project. And I'm just glad that it found a good home, even though it was with me. I think this was the right place for it, just because it just complements every other track very well. And it kind of set the tone when I was even looking for tracks for the project. Like, what kind of story did I want to tell? And I thought it would be a cool one to do the breakdown for, just because of that. So, if you haven't heard the album yet, which is Unknown Advantage, definitely go check it out. All the links will be in the description. It's still available on the platform called Even, where you can pay whatever you want for access to the music. But it is also now available on all streaming platforms. So obviously Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Deezer, whatever you use. So go check it out. I mean, support it in any way you feel like you want to. Like I said, I'll put the links in the description for that. We're going to have some hoodies for Unknown Advantage that are coming out soon. I did a giveaway recently on Instagram for one of those, but I think I'm going to put them up on Proven Knowledge store as well if you guys want to get those. The vinyl, I don't really know yet. They're still going to be vinyl. I'm trying to extend the pre-order so that more people are able to get the vinyl if they want it. By the time this video is out, the initial pre-order will be over. So I'm going to try to talk with the distributor and get it extended. So if you see the link for that in the description, just assume I got it extended. So hopefully that's the case. If not, I'm definitely going to be reselling the vinyl, the remaining stock, when I get it next year. So just stay on the lookout for that. But if you've already supported the album, if you already heard the song and the other tracks, thank you so much for checking it out. And I have a lot more projects on the way, definitely working on a lot of cool stuff. And as far as Behind the Beat goes, we got 2 more of these things before the end of the year. Don't know which one I'm going to do next month. We're probably going to be shifting away from Unknown Advantage because I just did 4 consecutive months of breaking down tracks from this album. But we're probably going to shift away from that, maybe do some other artist stuff that I've done recently in the meantime. So, yeah, but as always, thank you for, tuning in, watching, supporting, all that good stuff. I'm also doing the Twitch streams on Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. So if you've been seeing me upload videos for that, definitely check out the replays, but definitely tune in on twitch.tv/Anthonychurch24 Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Sometimes it's going to be different. If I'm busy on a certain week, I'll end up, maybe doing it on a Thursday or something like that. But stay tuned to the schedule, follow the social media, all that stuff. Going to be doing a lot more in-depth breakdowns on, my content, social media ideas, behind the scenes of the industry, all that kind of stuff. Different things about the podcast too. But yeah, like I said, thank you guys again for tuning in, and we'll definitely see you next month for another Behind the Beat episode. Take care.